God. Oh my God.
Well, let's hope it's not gonna be nothing serious.
I hope so, friend.
Yeah, man. Well, doesn't matter.
Hello, Miriam. How are you? Hello, Mike.
Hello.
How are you, friend?
Very well. Very well.
Okay. Let's begin our class today. Today is Monday, another week in the same situation. I hope you all feel well, and I hope regular classes will go on one of these days, you know. But meanwhile, we have to be patient, and we have to stay home. The homework was dealing with reported speech. Reported speech can be very simple or can be a little bit difficult for some students because there are many little details that you have to take into account when you are reporting what other people say in the past. We have to keep in mind, number one, the question can be uses. Remember that, because if the question is in present, you don't have to change the tenses. Present, if the question is, what does he say? You report the present with present, you report the past with past. But when the question is in past, which is the regular thing, normally the question is, what did he say? When the question is in past, then, friends, we have to change everything the way we studied in the previous lesson. We studied at present, in the reported speech becomes simple past. We study that present continuous becomes past continuous. We study that simple past in the reported speech it becomes past perfect. And we study that present perfect in the reported speech becomes past perfect too. We study that will, when you report a sentence containing will, you use would. The verb is in simple form because after will and after would, after the modal verbs in general, the verbs don't conjugate. So the verb is going to be in simple form. But will becomes, my God, what is, Esther, what is, thank you, thank you. Not an echo. I don't know whose this echo is. Mike, I think this is your microphone, friend. Well, that is what we studied. But these are not the only changes. We studied in class that we have to change other elements in the sentence. For example, now becomes then, here becomes there. Remember that this becomes that. Today becomes that day. Yesterday becomes the day before. Tomorrow becomes the day after, etc., etc. Many details. So reported speech is something that you have to be very careful with. You have to be careful because there is not only the change you have to do with the tense, but also other elements change in the reported speech. In general, we study that we report three different kinds of sentences. We report affirmative and negative sentences using the changes that I explained before. Sometimes you don't have to report what the people say, but sometimes you have to report what the people ask you to do. Sometimes it is a petition, and the way in which you report a petition is different. You immediately recognize that the person is asking you to do something, petition, request, commands, because it is in the imperative form. The sentence is in the imperative form. What is the meaning of that? That the sentence begins with the verb. When, for example, your mother tells you, eat the supper, open the door, for example, close the window. You see, these are sentences that are in the imperative form because they begin with a verb, which is not normally in English because normally we begin with the subject. You open the door, you, they, etc. No. In this case, you have an exclamation mark, tenemos un signo de exclamación, and the sentence begins with the verb. In this case, when the person asks you to do something, the imperative sentence is affirmative, you use the infinitive. For example, open the door, please. When you report, you say, he asked me to open the door. Sometimes the imperative form is negative. Don't speak in the library. It's negative. You see, don't speak. In that case, you report using not to. The teacher told me not to speak in the library. And finally, we studied how to report questions. In reporting questions, you have to analyze the quality of the question. There are two classifications of questions. Question with interrogative word, how, when, who, why, and questions that begin with the auxiliary, did, do, does. They are different. You report them in a different form. For example, when the question is with interrogative word, let's see an example. Who are you working with? Who are you working with? In my report speech, I have to use who. Huh? He asked me who I was working with, or yes, who I was working with. Imagine a question that begins with the auxiliary. Did you see Esther? When you report, you don't use did. You eliminate the auxiliary did, or in the case of do, you eliminate do. In the case of does, you eliminate the auxiliary does, and you replace it with if. Did you see, I don't remember the example, did you see Rachel? The reported speech is, she asked me if I saw, did you see, I have to use past perfect. She asked me if I had seen Rachel. So these are the three big problems that you can have in reported speech, and the homework was dealing with this. So let's begin checking the answers of the homework. The homework was an extra piece of paper I sent you by WhatsApp group. Let's check it. Number one, come quickly. How do you report this? Come quickly. A volunteer to read the answer. Asked me. So she asked me, no, the complete answer is she asked me I would prefer you to use the microphones so you give me a full answer.
For example, she told me to come quickly.
Excellent. Yes. She told me to come quickly. That is the correct answer. Number two is, did you arrive before 7? It is a question. How do you report this question? She Yes, yes, that's good, but I prefer you to tell me orally, friends. Don't be timid. Alex, can you read your answer?
Yes. She asked me if I had arrived before 7.
Yes, very good. She asked me if I had arrived. It was in past. You report in past perfect. Very good, friend. Number 3.
And Jerry,
Yes.
one question. You can use she said because it's a question, but you can use the word said. She said me if I had arrived.
No, in question said is not appropriate.
Okay, because it is a question, no?
It is a question. Yes, it is a question. That's why she told me it's not adequate. She asked me, she wanted to know. You see, the normal options are she asked me, she asked, she wanted to know. Now,
Okay.
number 3. Number 3 is another question. How was your holiday? It is a question in past. I know. Can you give me your answer?
Yes. She asked me how my holiday had been.
Excellent. Yes. Yes. Very good. Number 4. Number 4 says, I would have visited the hospital if I had known you were sick. My God, this was complicated in other groups because it is a conditional, but not any conditional. This is conditional number 3, the most complicated. And there are things that you cannot change. Yes, for example, you can change will for would, but you cannot change would. Would continues would. You change simple past into past perfect, but when the sentence is in past perfect, you cannot change it. There is no possibility. So it has to continue in past perfect. Number 4, accordingly, would be something like she said that she would have visited the hospital if she had known I was sick. You see, I make some little changes, but the tenses continue the same because it is impossible to take into the past would have visited. Impossible. It is impossible to take into the past she had known. It is impossible. So it continues being she had known. Let's go now to number 5. Number 5 has an exclamation mark, signo de exclamación. Be careful with that. This is imperative form. Don't touch. It is imperative. It is negative. Who can report this? Yes.
For example, she said me not to touch.
But she said me impossible.
Or she said not to.
She said blah blah blah, or she told me. But she said me, no, impossible. She said that, for example. That's acceptable.
So without me.
Yes. As soon as you want to know who is the person who received the information, you have to use tell. She told me it was a beautiful day. She said it was a beautiful day. She told me it was a beautiful day. She said it was a beautiful day. So if you want to say me, you have to use told. So I'm sorry, could you repeat the answer? She told me?
She told me not to touch.
Yes. She told me not to touch. Let's go to number 6. Number 6 says, Do you usually cook at home? It is a question beginning with do. It is in present. I'm going to use past. I'm going to change do for if. So what is the solution of number 6?
It can be, she asked me if I usually cook at home.
Yes, that's correct. She asked me if I usually cooked at home. Let's go to number 7. They had never been to, I'm sorry, wait a minute. Mike, you asked me about number 4, yes or no? Someone asked me about 4.
No. I had a question.
Okay, sorry, Mike. I was confused. Number 7. They had never been to Scotland until last year. You see, number 7, the sentence, the original sentence is in past perfect. You cannot change that. It is impossible to change past perfect. So you are going to use past perfect again. Who can report number 7?
I think the answer is she told me that they had never been in Scotland until the previous year.
They had never been to Scotland until last year. So she said that she had never, yes, that day, sorry. She said, or she told me, as you want, that optional, they had never been to Scotland until last year. Perfect. That is the answer. Number 8. Make sure you arrive early. And you have to use she. Observe the exclamation mark. Signo de exclamación. This is imperative form. Make sure you arrive early. So what is the report speech for number 8?
She told me to arrive early.
Yes, she told me to arrive early. Number 9, I should have studied harder for the exam. And you have to use she. But in the original sentence, you have should have studied. We cannot change that. Shall becomes should, but should continue being should. So you cannot change the sentence. The solution of number 9 is she said that optional. She should have studied harder for the exam. You see, the tense continues the same. You cannot change it into the past because there is no past for should. Let's go to number 10. Would you mind telling me how to get to the art gallery, please? See that? Would you mind telling me how to? The real question is how to get to the art gallery. That is what the person needs to know. The rest of the sentence is a group of polite, very polite expression. Would you mind telling me, which in Spanish is something like, le molestaría decirme, por favor. See that? It's very, very polite. But you don't use it. You don't use that in the reported speech. Because what the person really wants to know is how to get to the art gallery. So how do you report number 10?
For example, she asked me, or she asked she asked how to get her to the art gallery.
She asked how to get to the art gallery.
She asked how to get her to the art gallery.
No, her is not necessary because how to get is cómo llegar. If you write her, cómo llegar ella, but it's not necessary.
Vale. Okay.
So she asked, I'm going to write me. which is not necessary, but let's imagine that she asked me how to get to the art gallery, or she asked how to get, ella preguntó cómo llegar, o ella me preguntó cómo llegar a la galería de arte. She asked me how to get to the art gallery. Number 11. Please don't forget my book. This is a petition, right? It is very polite because you have please. You eliminate please when you report. It is a petition that begins with negative, don't. So normally you report using not to. 11. Who can tell me 11?
It can be she asked me not to forget her book.
Yes, very good. Very good, friend. Yes, that is the answer. Thank you, Sarai. Now, next. Make sure, asegúrate, make sure you arrive at 6. Who can report this? It is a petition. See, it is imperative form with exclamation mark and everything. It is affirmative, so you are going to use 2. What is the answer?
She told me to arrive at 6.
Yes, she told me to arrive at 6. She asked me, she told me, me dijo que, she asked me, me pidió que. She asked me to arrive at 6, or she told me to arrive at 6. Number 13. Remember to study hard. Exclamation mark. Similar situation. She
told me to study hard.
She told me to study hard. She told me to remember to study hard. Acceptable too. 14. Where do you want to eat tonight? It is a question. It is in present. Using where. I have to repeat where in the reported speech. Who can tell me number 14? Be careful with tonight.
She asked me
Maybe.
where I wanted. Sorry.
Don't worry.
Which do you prefer?
Any of you, any.
Okay.
But as I know, yes.
She asked me where I wanted to eat that night.
Do you agree with that? The lady, the girl?
Yes, yes.
Very good, very good. So you coincide with him. Thank you, I know. Very good. Now, number 15, I think. 15, yes. I usually drink coffee in the mornings. This is an affirmative sentence in simple present, and you have to report it using chi. Chi what? 15. Natalie, can you tell me? Natalie? Number 15 says, I usually drink coffee in the mornings. It is in present, right? It is in present, so I have to use past. Who can tell me this? Nobody?
She say that she usually drank coffee in the morning.
Yes. Yes, very good. 16. Do you like studying English? It is a question. It begins with a auxiliary verb. I have to use if. Who can do this? 16. She asked me, for example.
She asked me if I liked studying English.
Yes, very good. She asked me if I liked studying English. 17. I'll come and help you on Saturday. This is a sentence in future using will, and maybe you remember that will becomes would. Who can help me with this? 17.
For example, she told me she would come and help me on Saturday.
Yes, very good, Mike. Exactly that. 18. Please buy some bread on your way home. How do you report this petition?
She asked me to buy some bread on my way home.
Excellent. Very good. Yes. 19. Please give this to John. What about this one?
She asked me to give that to John.
Excellent. Yes, very good. 20. Could you give me the glass on the table, please? What about this one?
She asked me if she could give me the glass on the table.
No, because you changed the meaning. She asked me if she could. No. She asked me to give her. She asked
Vale, vale.
me to give her. Me pidió que le diera a ella. She asked me to give her the glass on the table. She asked me to give her the glass on the table. Okay, that was the homework. You see how complicated it can be? Let's see now how Cambridge loves evaluating the reported speech in the exams. Let's go to your books, page 89. Well, no, I think, let me ask you a question because I don't remember, friends, if we did exercise 5 on page 88. I don't remember if we did it. Sorry, exercise 5 on page 89. Have we done it in class?
Yes, Jerry, but we don't corregir.
We didn't correct it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's correct it because it's very complicated, this exercise, you know. And as this is the way that Cambridge loves evaluating reported speech in exams, it is important to check it. In number 1, friends, it says, you really should see that film, Pablo, his friend said, and you have to use advice. What Cambridge expects you to answer is, Pablo's friend advised him to see the film. Check your answers. Pablo's friend advised him to see the film. 4 words. Advised him to see. If you have anything different, tell me because maybe your answer is also correct. Now, number 2, why don't we go swimming this afternoon, said Marie. And you have to use suggested. Marie suggested going swimming that afternoon. That is the answer. Marie suggested going swimming that afternoon. In number 3, don't leave the light on when you go to bed, my father said to me. And now you have to use switched. My father told me to switch off the light when I went to bed. My father told me to switch off the light when I went to bed? Check your answers.
Ask is possible.
My father asked me to, yes, yes.
Okay.
Number 4, don't forget to post the letter, Sylvia told Natasha. And you have to use reminded. Sylvia reminded Natasha, and now you need infinitive because remind to. So Sylvia reminded Natasha to post the letter. 5, you haven't been paying attention to me, our teacher told us. You haven't been paying attention to me, and now notice, you have to use notice. It's because there is a similar expression to pay attention. Pay attention is a synonym of take notice. So take notice, synonym of pay attention. The solution is our teacher accused of not taking any notice of him. Our teacher accused us of, tengo que poner of porque accuse of van juntos siempre, acusar de, accuse of. Y en cuanto pongo of, el verbo venga donde venga, necesita ing, ya lo sabemos. Conclusion, our teacher accused us, of not taking any notice of him. 6, I'll try as hard as I can to pass the exam, said Paola. And you have to use best. Paola promised to do her best to pass the exam. Paola promised to do her best to pass the exam. These were the answers for exercise number 5, which was a problem in other classes. I don't know here, but in other classes, many students got confused with some items. Principally, number 5 was a serious problem in many classes. And now let's go to page number 91. Let's go to page 91, my friends. Page 91. This one here. On page number 91, we have some pictures illustrating, my God, sorry. Illustrating what? Illustrating cultural activities students normally do in schools. Remember that not all students like sport. Sport is very general, is very popular, but not all students love sport. There are other students who have some kind of tendency to prefer arts. There are many students who love playing an instrument, a musical instrument. There are boys and girls who love singing. Other people prefer dancing. Other group of people love painting. And other group of people, children principally, love taking part in, theater roles and acting in plays, etc. And this is the topic of the speaking in unit number 8. Because imagine that in the exam, when you are in the speaking exam, imagine that the teacher selects for you unit number 8. If the teacher selects unit number 8 for you in the speaking exam part 1 personal questions, one very repetitive question is, do you think that schools should teach subjects such as painting or photography or dancing or playing musical instrument in classes? Do you think that a school should teach these elements to students or not? What do you answer? You can answer positively or negatively, it doesn't matter, but you need to speak. What's your opinion about this?
I think that cultural activities is very important for the development of children
Yes,
because all person need formation in sport and in cultural activities.
very good. Very good. So, Sarai, you agree with the importance of schools giving children the possibility of studying music or arts, etc. Yes or no?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. I would like to hear the opinion of other people about this topic.
I think these subjects should be taught, but not in the regular school. So I think it have to be taught, but after classes. So when you finish your regular lessons, you can taking part in theater or playing guitar or dancing, but after classes.
Like extra curriculum.
Yes.
Good. So
Exactly.
if you like theater, you participate in theater, but if you don't like theater, you don't have to do it.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree with you.
Or you can, or between 4, you can choose, for example, 2 for developing more.
Yes. I totally agree with you because art is something vocational, you know. If you don't have talent or if you don't have vocation for singing or dancing, it is very difficult that you can be a good singer or a good dancer. You need something, you know. You need to feel something about the arts in order to be good at that. Very good, Mike and Sarai. I'm going to send you an audio for you to listen to other students speaking about this. I'm going to send this to the WhatsApp group. Give me just a second. Here. Yes.
Unit 8. Speaking Part 4.
This one.
4. Exercise 1.
Do you think schools should teach subjects such as dance, drama, or music? Well,
Well, friends, I think you have received it. Have you received the audio?
Yes, Jerry.
Good.
Yes.
Good, because this is the listening that you have in exercise number 1, page 91, exercise 1.
Unit 8. Speaking Part 4. Exercise 1.
do you think schools should teach subjects such as dance, drama, or music?
Well, I think generally speaking, schools should teach these subjects to small children so that they can find out if they like them. I think these subjects help children to learn how to express themselves. But I don't think generally it's so important for older children or teenagers to do these subjects because they tend to have lots of other things to study. So on the whole, I guess these subjects should be voluntary, not compulsory,
as children get older. Peter, do you agree with Antonio?
Generally, yes, but I feel it's a pity when students don't have time for the subjects they enjoy.
Okay, this is the characteristic of speaking exam part 4. Speaking exam part 4 is when you finish the conversation with the other student and then you have to give opinions about different topics. Part 4 in the speaking exam is giving opinion. I have a problem with Sylvia because Sylvia is not in the WhatsApp group. Sylvia, I need you to send me your telephone number in order to include you to the WhatsApp group. Because if not, I don't remember. I don't have here the information. Everything is in the academy. So I will need your telephone number, your name and surname. Okay. So as soon as I have a chance, I will include you in the WhatsApp group of future classes. Okay, Sylvia. Yes. Okay, friends. So what is the activity today? The activity today is I need to prepare you, friends, for the day of the exam in case the teachers ask you questions about unit number 8. So let's go to next page, page number 92, because here you have the questions that Cambridge can ask you the day of the exam. If Cambridge selects unit 8 for you, something that we, in this moment, we don't know, but we have to prepare. These are the questions. You see the 5 questions that you have in question 5. Read these questions, then decide which phrases in the box you could use in your answer to each question. Some phrases can be used for more than one answer. And question number 1 says, do you think that all young people should learn to play a musical instrument? Why yes, if you say yes, or why not, if you consider that the answer is no? Analyze the question because one of you has to answer. Do you think that all young people should learn to play a musical instrument?
Well, I think that it's recommendable for people to learn how to play some instruments, but I think it's not should be a must for them.
Yes, I agree with you. I think this is the key answer. I think this is the key answer. That everybody should have the possibility, and if you feel inclined to practice in playing an instrument, you can do it, but not as a must, as you said, yes, not compulsory, not something that has to be done like an obligation. Another person to speak about this point, do you think that all young people should learn to play a musical instrument? Very easy question.
Apart the mother opinion, I think buying a musical instrument sometimes is too expensive for a young person. So I think this person prefers doing other activities because it's too expensive finally
Yes.
for him.
Yes, the economy is important. I remember when I was studying elementary school, we have to play the sweet flute, you know, because it was very cheap. So all the students have the flute in the bag, and we hate the flute. And we were all the time making noise with the flute. I never learned to play the flute correctly. But I think it was a way for the schools to try to begin students playing some kind of musical instrument. As the flute was very cheap, they decided using the flute and not a guitar that can be expensive, etc. But in general terms, friends, imagine that you are in the exam and the teacher asks you this. I think that the most important thing is vocation. I mean, I remember when I was 11 years old, my best friend at the moment, he loved playing the guitar. And I wanted to play the guitar too, because my friend was playing the guitar. I wanted to learn to play the guitar. But the reality is that I was a disaster. So my parents wasted money buying me a guitar because I never learned to play the guitar. I was never good at playing the guitar because I didn't like it. I mean, I didn't feel motivated. I didn't have talent for playing the guitar. And my friend was good at the guitar finally because he really liked the guitar. So it's not a problem of putting all the students to play a guitar or a piano, because in the end, only a few students will finally play the piano or the guitar well. Art is something that is connected with vocation, with talent, you know. It's difficult to oblige a person to play a musical instrument, very difficult. Do you agree with me?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much, friend. The second question is, what things do young people learn from acting in plays? In many schools, elementary school principally, sometimes in secondary school, every year, every class prepares a theater play, you know, and the students from that class act as if they were actors and actresses in a play in the theater of the school. The question is, what things do young people learn from acting in plays? If you consider that they learn anything, maybe you consider that it's not beneficial for children at all. Opinions?
I think they mainly learn how to speak in public, and I think this is a very important thing in your life, because it doesn't matter what are you going to do or in what are you going to work. There is sometimes you have to speak in public, and it is very important. And for example, when I was a child, like 7 years old, I act in plays, and I learned not to be as shy as I was. So I think it's really important.
Were you shy?
Like when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I didn't like to speak to anyone apart from my mom or my dad.
Yes, but you are totally right, Miriam. Yes or no? It's Miriam.
Yes, it's me.
Miriam, hi, friend. Yes, I totally agree with you, Miriam. This is I think, in my opinion, right? Maybe Mike has a different opinion, and I have to accept it. But being or preparing young children to speak in public is going to pave the way for future professional, you know? Because how can you be a professional if you are timid or you are not able to speak in public? How is that possible? You will be limited in the future if you are not able to speak in public. And I think that theater is wonderful for shy, timid students. Teacher always take that into consideration when you work in elementary school, right? Because when you are in high school or university, there is nothing to do. But when you work in elementary, primary school, normally you are looking for the shy children, and these are the ones that we teachers select for working in theater, because we know that we are helping them to be good professionals in the future. Another benefit of, I am telling you this, friends, preparing you for the exam, right? Another benefit of for children, for students acting in place is that they have to memorize the roles. They have to memorize everything they say. They have to memorize when they have to say it. They have to memorize when they have to make silence. And this is a very nice exercise for memory for people who have problems with memory like me. It is a constant practice of memory. So these are the two principal benefits of theater for children. Number one, you are preparing them for speaking in public, which is going to be very important for them in the future. And you are helping them to practice memorization. The other question, which is question 3, what are the advantages of seeing a film in the cinema instead of seeing the same film on television in your living room? Maybe you agree with this, maybe you don't agree, it doesn't matter. The important thing is to speak. Opinions, friends?
Well, I think you can enjoy more the experience. For example, because of the sound system, you
Yes.
can enjoy the soundtrack in a way that you really can do it in your living room, for example.
Yes, you are right. Yes, the sound system in a theater is spectacular. Principally when you are watching an action movie, that is fantastic. And what about the big screen? In the cinema, you have a big, large screen, you know, so it is more effective. The room is totally dark, so there are no distractors, right? Maybe if you are in your living room, your mother or your father or your sister or your pet is constantly passing in front of you, between you and the television, and these elements are distracting you. It doesn't happen in the cinema, except that your neighbor has a baby who is constantly crying or something like that. You know, these things happen. But who can tell me about the disadvantages of going to the cinema instead of enjoying the film at home? Because there are disadvantages too, or not? Nobody can tell me the disadvantages of going to the cinema?
I think that one disadvantage is that you can speak with your friends. What do you think about the film in the moment?
Yes, that's right. Exactly that. Another disadvantage of the cinema is the price of the cinema, friends. Yes or no? No opinion about that?
Yes, I agree with you. I think nowadays it's really expensive at weekends, especially.
Yes. And when can you go to the cinema? At the weekends. The only moment we can go to a
Yes.
cinema.
Also,
Yes.
the Wednesday, because it's cheaper than the rest of the days.
Yes, but Mike, you know something? I can never go to the cinema during weekdays
For the classes. I know.
for classes, and I think there are many people like me that don't have that possibility. So the only chance is going on at the weekend, and this is expensive. But it's not my case because I'm working, right? I have a salary. I am thinking of students like you who are studying. Maybe you have a part-time job, but it's not a good salary. So sometimes I feel that sometimes you don't go more often to the cinema just because you prefer using your money in other more productive things. And
There are also other platforms like Netflix or HBO, and these platforms help you to watch more series and more films without going to the film, going to the cinema.
You are right. Yes, there are platforms such as Netflix or HBO or Cinemax or, well, now you have a lot because Amazon, I think. So there are a lot of platforms that offers you the best series, the best film with high quality, and you don't have to leave your living room. One advantage is, or another advantage of watching a film at home is that whenever you want, you can stop the film, go to the fridge, and eat something. Do you like the idea, Mike?
Yes. Sounds nice. Sounds nice.
Yes, of course. Question 5. Which do you think is the purpose of television? To entertain the people or to educate the people? Interesting question.
Well, I think the main purpose is to entertain, but even though to educate it's not a purpose, they educate us because we are all time looking television, so they have they have to do the things the way they knew they can influence us, and they are in any way learning us some things.
Yes, I agree with you. Television was invented to entertain people. But nowadays, I don't know if you notice the difference between television programs in the past and now. Principally the series. I noticed that series are every day more and more interesting. And there are some channels dedicated to documentaries about nature, animals, history, discoveries, and things like that can also educate people. So television doesn't have to be bad. Television can offer entertainment for people who are looking for entertainment, but it can also provide education for people who look for education in their television programs. You are the responsible for choosing the programs you want to watch. That's my opinion. Nowadays, television offers both education and entertainment for people. And the spectators or the audience are the ones who choose the programs they want to watch. Do you agree with that?
Yes, Jerry, I think like Miriam and you, that the purpose of television principally is entertain, but television to educate people. And in days like this, where children are in house, it's too important programs to educate they, because they can't go to school.
Yes, exactly that. Friends, now I need you to go to page number 95. Let's go to page 95. Page 95. Because here on page 95, you have the vocabulary and grammar review of unit number 8. Maybe you can see the page on the screen. With these activities that we have done today, We finished the grammatical aspect of unit number 8. We finished the speaking of unit number 8. The only element that is pending is the writing, that we are going to analyze this next class. I would like to check a revision of unit number 8 on page number 95. See that? Choose the best word A, B, C, or D for each gap. And they give you 8 sentences. In these 8 sentences, what they are doing in reality is revising the vocabulary that we studied in unit number 8. So, friends, I'm going to give you some minutes for you to do it. I don't want you to rush, right? Take it slowly, and using your books and also the translators, select the adequate letter A, B, C, or D. Let's do it. And when you finish, send me a message. Very good. Very good. Let's check it. Number 1. The flying display attracted about 50,000 public, or 50,000 assistants, or 50,000 spectators, or 50,000 audience? What is your answer? A, B, C, or D, friends? For example, Sarai. What do you think is the letter, Sarai? A. A is public, 50,000 public. The rest of the class, do you agree? Well, we have A, public, but we have also C, which is spectators. C, spectators. Yes, friends, is spectators. Because a flying display is a sport activity. And in sport, the name of the public is spectators. Remember that the people in any kind of sport event is considered to be a spectator. If these people are in a theater or in a concert, I mean, in any kind of cultural activity, they are called audience. And public is the people in general, in the middle of the street or in a park. This is the public. So let us see is the correct one in number 1. In number 2, as a police officer, I get a lot of questions from members of the, and then you have people, public, audience, spectators, asking how to get to one place or another. What about this? Number 2, A, B, C, or D? B, 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 B. Yes, it's letter B, friends. Very good. It's the public. Yes. Now, number 3. During the musical cultural event, during the musical, the audience, spectators, public, attendants clapped at the end of every single song. What is the answer? Laura consider is A, Ainhoa A, Alex A, Sarai A, Miriam A, Alex, yes, is A, is audience, because it is a cultural event. Very good. The audience clapped. For British actress Amanda Hazlitt gave a super play, a super act, a super performance, or a super acting as Lady Macbeth at the Globe Theatre last night. What is the letter? A, B, C, or D? C for Merito, Laura C. Yes, friends, is letter C, is performance. But it's confusing anyway. But performance is the perfect answer in number 4. 5. If you are interested in a career in acting, a career in playing, a career in performance, a career in stage, you must be prepared to work hard for little money. A, B, C, or D? A, yes, you are very smart. Yes, A. A, acting is perfect in number 5. Yes, friends. 6. That play is much better on the theater, on the play, on the scene, on the stage than in the film version. What is the letter here? A, B, C, or D? D for Maikano, A for Ainhoa, D for Sarai. And the rest of the, yes, Laura D, Miriam Benito A, Alex D. Well, the answer in number 6 is a stage. On the stage, it is a play, right? So you have the preposition on. It is a play in the theater, so it's on the stage. Vera is thinking of pursuing a what, friend? Always pursuing what? If it is a collocation. Yes, C, Alex, Mike, Miriam, C, pursuing a career. Yes. No, Laura, it's not B, it's C. It's pursuing a career. Cursar una carrera. Estudiar una carrera. Pursue a career. 8. It's more important to do a job you enjoy than one where you win a lot of money, earn a lot of money, gain a lot of money, pay a lot of money. B, allora A, and I know a B, sarai B, allora A. Well, it is B. Huh? With the money, you don't win money. You win a competition in sport, right? You win a match. You win a prize in competitions. But with money, you earn the money. You earn money. So letter B is the perfect here in this example. See that? Very interesting. Acting and all this. This is the topic of our lesson number 8. I'm going to send you something by the WhatsApp group. Give me a second for you to watch it. Give me just a second. Here. This is for... Watch the video, friends. Have you received it? Very good. Very good. Watch it and enjoy it.
So I just did what I consider to be one of the most difficult things to do in my profession of acting, which is to walk as yourself. This is the first time in my life I have ever actually talked about my work in this way. I didn't go to drama school. The first time, in fact, I remember seeing drama at all was when my mother took me to an amateur production of Hamlet. It was a cataclysmic experience. A darkened space with a group of people watching something and they're transformed by it. I would like to share some of the ways I work. Never act in front of a mirror. You are doing the exact opposite of what acting is about. Acting is all about what's happening within you. It doesn't matter what's happening on your face. It's a collaboration between us all. Your costume designer is incredibly important in building your character. A Russian with a bad wig and these glasses, nomination. Likewise, the environment is going to tell the story of the character as much as the costume is. I knew nothing at all about working in front of a camera. Now this is what happens just before you do a take. At this point you have to cut all this stuff out. And when the director calls action, you don't have to start acting straight away. Of course, the beautiful moment is between you and that little spot next to the lens. I remember this feeling so well, and many of you will feel it, when suddenly you're in control of it. I felt I was on this incredibly powerful force, but I had the vocal ability, I had the intellectual ability for that all to settle, and now I could play with it. The moment where your technique is so deep within you, that gives you the freedom then to invent, to improvise, to act. I'm Helen Mirren, and this is my masterclass.
Have you finished? Good. Very good. Well, friends, that is acting, what Helen Mirren was speaking about. So if acting is something so vocational, that is something that has to be loved by the person who practices acting, how can you impose this to a kid? How can you oblige a kid to studying playing or acting if that child in specific doesn't have the vocation? It's difficult. There are things in life that depends on the talent the people got, and you got the talent or you don't get the talent. I'm sorry. That's it. As simple as that. Let's continue with our exercise. Let's go back to our book. Page 95. Grammar exercise. This is going to be the last activity in our class today. It is grammar. Complete each of the sentences below by writing a word or phrase from the box. In some cases, more than one answer may be possible. You can use the word and phrases more than once. And in the box, you have the connectors of contrast. These connectors that you love. Although, despite, even though, however, in spite of, whereas, or while. Let's use the connectors for contrast correctly. I'm going to give you some minutes. When you feel ready, tell me and we check the answers. Very good. Let's check the answers then. Well, number one. Laura, can you read it? Number one.
I think is, however, Eva want to pursue a career in acting, she couldn't find a job.
No. This is not the correct position of however. Remember that however is always in the second sentence, initial position, and then a comma. So normally, however, is in the second sentence, and you use a comma. So, however, here is not the adequate. Miriam, what is your answer for number one?
Well, I think it is, although Eva wanted to pursue a career in acting, she couldn't find a job.
Yes. In number one, you can use although or even though, Laura. It can be although or even though, okay? Now, number two. Alex, can you read number two for me, please?
Yes. Max gave a wonderful performance in the school concert despite his headache.
Excellent. Yes, despite is perfect, or the synonym in spite of. Yes, very good. Number three. What about three, Mike?
While Jason dreams of being a footballer, Eva wants to work in the theater.
Yes, Mike. You can use while or whereas because they are synonyms. Very good. Okay. What about number four, Sarai?
Despite not being very talented, she became a highly successful Hollywood star.
Yes, Sarai, very good. Despite or in spite of, both are acceptable here. Five, what about five, Laura? Laura, I think this is perfect for you.
One moment. They spent millions on the films. However, not many people were interested in going to see it.
Yes, Laura. Esa es la posición de however. En la segunda oración, después de un punto y seguido, y después de however una coma. Exactly that. Very good. Number six, Miriam.
I enjoy watching documentaries, whereas my brother prefers soap operas.
Yes. Whereas or while are good in number six. In number seven, Alex.
He insisted on playing loud music, although it was nearly 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. Although or the synonym even though. Perfect. Let's go to eight. Eight is for Mike.
People of all age go to rock concerts, although classical music concerts are mainly attended by people over 50.
I prefer while or whereas, Mike. Analyze it. Yes, I think it's better. People of all ages go to rock concerts, while classical music concerts are mainly attended by people.
Yes.
Better. I think it's better. Friends, we are going to finish the class here because I have another class and I have to prepare conditions. But I want you to copy the homework that I'm going to check next class. Please, the homework for next class is dealing with grammar. We are going to do grammar exercises in the workbook. So let's take the workbook page 32. Workbook, page 32, exercises 1, 2, and 3. Page 32 in the workbooks, exercises 1, 2, and 3. If you analyze the page, you will see that the 3 exercises are connected with reported speech. So what you are going to do on page 32 is to practice again the reported speech. Any question? Is the homework clear, friends? No?
Yes.
Mike? Well, I said that the homework is in the workbook, page 32, all the exercises there, because they are connected with reported speech. Sarai, do you understand now? Sarai. Sarai. Ah, yes, okay, Sarai. Thank you, friends. Well, have a good day, a beautiful evening, and see you next class. Bye-bye, friends.